All right, now it is an exciting moment for me to introduce to you screens via Zoom. She's not coming in studio, but she'll be joining me via Zoom. Ivanna Waweru. She is a psychologist and the founder of the CBO Purpose Function. Very, very important when you see a woman actually starting things to improve the livelihood of children. Ivanna Waweru is joining me via Zoom. She'll talk to me about everything concerning the children. Now, what is building this conversation is that in the past 2 days, we've been celebrating children, rather 2 months, we have been celebrating children's rights, and this forms the basis of this particular conversation. Ivanna, good morning.
Morning, good morning.
How are you today?
Yes, how are you?
I am very excited, I am energetic, and I am glad that we are finally talking about our children.
Yes, very important,
the,
very important.
the foundation, I
Something
want.
that we have been ignoring.
Yeah, we have been ignoring for a long time. We wait to actually heal hurting adults instead of creating
Yeah,
better childhood, right?
yes, starting from the root.
Starting from the roots.
Mm.
So I want us to talk about the CBO, the foundation, before
Mm-hmm.
anything else.
Mm-hmm.
What is your foundation all about?
So my foundation is called Dada Foundation, and it's a foundation I started when I became a teen mom. And so basically what I do is support teen moms emotionally and psychologically. And sometimes even if I partner with other organizations, I help them financially. And it's basically to help the teen mom overcome their circumstances and live a quality life and go beyond their decisions or go beyond their mistake, whichever we choose to call it. And also just speak to teen girls and mentor teen girls to avoid unwanted early pregnancy.
I think that's really, really powerful. I'll use the word powerful because I can imagine a child having a child. How was it for you to start with being a teen mom? Because I know a teen mom is probably still going to school.
Yeah. So what happened is I became a teen mom when I was 18. So luckily I was finishing school. I was in the last month of finishing my Form 4 or IGCSE. And so that was good because at least I was able to finish school and then now get the child. But still, the fact that I was 18 was really hard because I didn't get the support I needed when I needed it. And also, it was emotionally draining, financially difficult because I wasn't independent. And so, for as a teen mom, it's hard. You just have to also accept now who you are and yeah, adjust to life as it comes.
I like the positivity that this is the situation, this is where we are at, so what can we do to adjust? I think that's really, really powerful. And I know that a
Yeah.
lot of children, I will call them children, are dealing with certain mental issues. So I just
Mm-hmm.
want to have us analyze the current mental state of the child today. You probably want to just touch on that.
Mm-hmm. So one thing I'd say about the African child is that they're not listened to, they're not paid attention to, and most of the people will ignore children. So in Africa, we think children are not supposed to be seen and are not supposed to be heard. That's one of the statements that African parents or older people would say. Children are supposed to be seen, not heard. And so that is the main issue we are facing with children because they're not being heard, they're not being seen, they're not being valued, and they're not being understood. And that is where all our problems begin. All the problems we are seeing now come from children who aren't listened to, who aren't valued, who aren't taken care of emotionally and psychologically.
You know, as you're talking about that, and I'm reading the African Children's Charter, and you know they're keeping
Mm-hmm.
in check what African states should be doing. One of the things they're talking
Mm-hmm.
about is actually listening to children. You know, to listen to their
Yeah.
grievances so that we can get solutions. But when you're talking about that the current state is that we're still not listening to our children, I think there really is a
Mm-hmm.
problem, Ivana, right?
Yes, a very big problem, very, very big.
Wow.
Mm.
So then, for the teen girls now, let's just talk about the teen girls
Yeah.
because there's been a lot of debates of should we get them back to school? Then who is
Mm-hmm.
supposed to carry the load? Who is responsible? There's a lot of blame game around these children. Uh,
Yeah.
how can we then, you know, reduce this? You know, numbers of pregnancies that we're actually
Mm-hmm.
recording. Is there something we can do as a society to make sure our children are not in these positions that you're handling right
Mm-hmm.
now?
Yeah. I think the first thing is also being open about topics, especially on sexual reproductive health, right? Because many kids don't know about sex. Many children just know, people don't even know what sex is. They know tabia mbaya. They know different names. They know different stories. If you get close to a boy, you could get pregnant. Children do not have facts. And people are afraid to give children facts because they feel we will be encouraging them to engage in these activities. But the truth is, if you teach your child or expose them to this information, then be able to make an informed decision. And that's why we need to get, as a country or as a continent, that our kids need to understand what's happening. Let's put it in black and white. And when they understand that, we should be able also to equip them to make informed decisions in
Yeah.
such scenarios.
You know, I was reading is it a blog or a Facebook page? Great shout out to Usikimie that has really been
Mm-hmm.
trying to bring out gender injustices and violence. And they're talking about
Mm-hmm.
telling your child, you know, there is a
Mm-hmm.
private part. I don't know, just as early as 2 years and above. People shouldn't touch you
Yes.
this way, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So
So,
ideally, also sex education should start from when your child is at home, when they are young, when they are two, as you're saying. Sex education starts from when you're young. It might be simple, it might be in a very simple way, a very small way, but you have to start it early on. Your child needs to understand this is the penis, this is the vagina. You need to call them out and not be ashamed about it, because that shame is what causes children to go through shameful things and be unable to tell you, because they have seen the shame you carry as a parent or as a guardian.
you know, today I'm celebrating the African child, and we want to look at the challenges that the African child is facing today. I'm going to ask you
Mm-hmm.
that in a bit because even as we do that, we want to appreciate the children back then in 1976 in Soweto who actually came
Mm-hmm.
out. They actually fought
Mm-hmm.
adults with guns, you know. And today,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
African child seems to be still battling certain challenges. You really want to break this down
Yeah.
for us, yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, I think the fact that they're not being heard and the fact that they're not being listened to or even being valued for who they really are, the future community or the future, like the future leaders, the fact that they're not being valued is a very hard thing to grapple with. The emotional side of kids has been shut down.
Yeah.
And now every time they try to bring it out, of course, it's met with parents who are like, no, your emotions don't matter, you should be strong, you should do this, you should do that. And so I think every time a child is like talking to you or trying to give a point or trying to give a grievance, please listen to them and know it's valid. I think most children go through the doubt of people thinking what you're saying is not valid, what you're saying doesn't make sense. If you're 5 years old, what you're saying can't be true.
You're just a
But
child.
yes, but now just understanding that every child has a point and every child's grievances should be listened to because it is valid from their point of view.
You know, a lot of things I know I want to appreciate the government and the ministry. Certain things like corporal punishment were probably,
Mm-hmm.
taken off. But Africa is Africa, so we do not know at what level the corporal punishment is not corporal anymore. But
Yeah.
which are these other recommendations? You work with a foundation that is standing
Mm-hmm.
with girls who are still kids in our eyes, who are still
Mm-hmm.
children. What are some of these recommendations you think we can still incorporate as a
Mm-hmm.
nation to just ensure that our
Mm-hmm.
children's mental health are fine, their quality education access is
Mm-hmm.
fine? Just a few that
Mm-hmm.
you probably would recommend.
I think one I feel strongly about and that I feel Africans maybe have an issue with is that we really think caning your child will make them a better person. But the same way, if, for example, I tried to beat someone, it's abusive. It's the same way when a parent does that, it could be abusive. It's a very thin line between discipline and abuse. It's a very thin line. And so for me, I always advise or encourage parents that before you get to caning your child or using your hand on your child, try other methods, try positive reinforcement, give them gifts, give them encouragement, tell them when you do this, I'm going to do this for you. If you do something wrong, you're going to have this consequence. Try and reason out with your child because your child is able to reason. So before you use the cane, try and reason with your child. Another thing is that parents need to deal with their stress separately to be able to deal with their children in a very objective manner. Most parents are dealing with their children from a point of their own stress. So for me, as a parent or a guardian, you need to deal with your stress and then now approach your child from a point where you have dealt with your stress. You are now on a very unbiased point of view. You're not angry at your child because you don't have money, or you're not angry at your child because life is so hard on you. Just try and be objective about parenting so that you don't pass your wounds onto your child.
I like
The
that. Do
other
not.
thing is, mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Sorry
sorry,
about
you can.
that. I just like that you said do not pass your wound over to your child.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you can
Yes.
continue. Yes.
Hmm. Yeah, because the truth is, and it's very sad when because I do a lot of counseling for children, a lot of counseling for teens, and a lot of counseling for youth. A lot of parents are being abusive. And there's nothing as sad as sitting down with a child and realizing the person who is detrimental to their mental health is their parent. Like, it's not their teacher, it's not their friends, it's not their environment, it's just their parents. It's the most saddest thing to meet in a counseling session. And I meet it more times than I would like to. And so for me, I feel parents should take it seriously to be able to be there for their children, listen to your children, understand where your child is coming from, their personality, how you can best deal with them. There are kids who, yes, need caning, but they're very few, and it's based on their personality. There are many children who would be able to reason with you and learn from what you're saying without you using the cane or using your hands on them. So I think it's important also to know your child. Take time to understand your child. This is your mission in this world. If you've got a
Yes.
child, this is your mission. So take it seriously and just learn them and do the best to try not to be the hurt that they have to deal with later on in life. So that's what we are dealing with right now.
Ivana,
Hurt children by their parents.
what I am getting from this conversation is you've mentioned parents and parents and parents and parents, and I'm thinking for the first time I don't have somebody blaming teachers.
No, no, no.
So then
Teachers are
how
just an addition.
it's just an addition, but the sole
Yes,
responsibility lies in the hands of the parents. Charity begins at
it
home.
does. It does. It really does. You
So
cannot leave the teacher with your child and expect them to treat them nicely. If you're treating them badly, it will still affect them. The teacher could be Miss Angel, like an angel from heaven, but if you're treating your child badly, you're showing them they don't matter. No matter what the teacher tries to show them, they come back home and realize, no, I don't actually matter. So you
I,
need to be. I know it's a hard job, but that's what now parenting is. It's a calling. It's a very hard job that we need to take seriously and just do it the best way we can without inflicting the least wounds we can, the least wounds we can.
the least or nothing at all. I know we want to close the session, but I want to talk
Yeah.
about so far the gains that we have
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
protection of children. I know we can't be
Mm-hmm.
entirely negative. So far, we've made certain
Mm-hmm.
strides. Even your foundation has made
Yes.
certain strides. Can we celebrate some of
Mm-hmm.
these gains on child protection?
Yes, yes, yes. I think we should and we can, because number one, I believe every person who's employed in a child-based organization is always going to be um, conversant with the child protection policy. And also children have begun speaking of their maybe the injustice they feel is happening to them, and that's a very strong thing. Also, parents have been open to helping their children with alternative care. Apart from them as a parent, they try and get a teacher, they try and get a counselor. And I think that's amazing. The parents who are doing that are doing an amazing job, just trying to look for the best thing for your child. And we are making strides that we're talking even about this in a public, forum, media. So I think here we are getting somewhere, and we can continue having this conversation, and it will help kids have a better life in future as we go on.
I usually say then these conversations should never end, and even if we close this particular conversation with you right here, they should never end. Now, Ivana Waweru, allow me to ask you some really last questions. Some people think it's sensitive. A lot of boys have said when you're empowering the
Mhm.
girl child, you're disempowering the boy child.
Mhm.
Your foundation is entirely working with teen girls. Do you think the teen
Yes.
fathers, if there are any,
Mhm. Yes.
need the same support? Because I'm sure there are young fathers out here who suddenly, I'm a
Mhm.
father, their parents are mad at them. Some are now
Yeah.
pulling carts and, I don't know, drinking and having bang, and they ran away from home. Is there a place for this
Mhm.
kind of boys?
There definitely is, and I think what I usually say and what I usually believe. First of all, I just want to clarify or disclaim that when you're empowering the girl child, it's not about the boy child, and it's not about them not having a place in being empowered. The fact that I'm empowering girl child is not that I'm telling them boys are bad. No, I'm telling them deal with boys in a respectful manner. And if I dealt with boys, I would tell them deal with a girl in a respectful manner. And I feel like we all need to empower, even men need to empower their boys. And so if a man can start an organization for teen fathers, it would be amazing because they understand where these boys are coming from. They can give them the best direction that is needed because I cannot show a man how to be a man. And that's why I do girls. So I can partner with any man to do teen boys and teen fathers events or teen fathers outreaches. But I always believe a man should be able to help men in a better way because they know where they're coming from, and a girl or a woman can help girls better because they know where they're coming from. But I
Wow.
also believe empowering a girl should be also important in the fact that they need men. Don't tell them you don't need a man. Because now me that's I think that's another thing that maybe causes that issue. Men are also important. There's a part they bring into the society that no woman can bring. And the statement where they say what a man can do, a woman can do is not true. And so we need to appreciate each other for our unique differences because we are very different and we are very talented. But if we don't combine efforts, yeah, we can't be able to do anything together or
Isn't it
something,
amazing to host a woman
successful.
so sober like you? We have to combine efforts. Ivana, you have made my day.
Yes, yes, we do, we do.
You know, I tell
Mm.
men to watch this show because
Yeah,
they have mistaken us for so many things, including what they say toxic
yes,
feminism.
yes.
I want to thank you so much for, accepting our invitation on such a short notice and of course being here
Yeah.
to honor this day of the African child. Please do come
Mm-hmm.
again and maybe in studio this
Yes,
time.
yes. I'd be very happy to come and meet you all in person.
Please do and say hi to the girls at the foundation.
I will, I will. And also maybe just to mention, I also have a organization called Ivanna Therapeutic, and that's where I do my counseling and my private practice and outreaches on mental health.
How can we reach you on social media? Maybe your number?
Uh, yes, maybe my Facebook page. So Ivanna Therapeutics, IVANNA Therapeutic Services.
All right. Thank you so much
Yes,
for creating time and, of course, for what you're doing with the girls and the girl child. And I'm also
thank you.
hoping I will host a man soon to tell me what they're doing with the men. Have a lovely day, Ivana.
Thank you. You too, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, that's just one and not the least, but my last discussion this morning. I want to check your feedback real quick. I want to close this show. It's 3 minutes past 9 in the AM, and some of you are like, no way. We had so much to talk about. I want to just breathe. Nimeze mate kidogo namna